we'll make a billy of tea. In my mind, there's only one way to do it. Nice rolling boil there. Tea leaves. Only got half a billy full of water here. There's only 3 of us. So. A couple of spoonfuls of loose leaf tea. Still got the slight rolling boil there. Bushman's oven mitt. Take it off the boil there. Sit it down just next to the fire there, and that'll just brew for a couple of minutes there. Those tea leaves will slowly sink to the bottom. We enjoy a bit of cow in our cuppa. Not mandatory, get by without it. Depends on what we're doing, but a bit of cow. Put the cow in before the tea. There you go, there's a little bit of something for you. So a bit of cow in the cup. Handle's cooled down a bit now. Just give it a little bit of billy tingle. Take the lid off, I do. And just a little bit of resonance in the billy. Any blast of the leaves will fall to the bottom. And there we go. If we do it right, we won't spill a drop. A couple of drops. So all the tea leaves are still in the bottom. There'll be no tea leaves whatsoever in the cup there. Just a couple of things about the water. First of all, stainless steel pot. I reckon that's the way to go. And because of where we are and because we've got access to it, nice fresh water out of the mountain stream. So there you go, cup of tea, perfect. Half a billy of tea, 3 cups. Doesn't get any better than that. Bit of a sleep in this morning. We had a bit of a misty, gentle rain all night, I think. Well, I'm saying that, it's not overly wet in the ground, but all the canvas is wet. Swag had a puddle of water sitting on the top there. Nice and dry inside though, apparently. So yeah, just a gentle, I think we're sitting in the cloud, just gentle mist. Perfect actually, perfect time to be in the mountains. So we've got the fire going. Bacon and egg jaffles on the menu this morning, so we've got a good bit of redwood on the fire to get a good bed of coals. The wood up here at altitude, you struggle to get any decent coals out of it, so we bought a bit of wood up from the lowlands to redwood, and we'll get a good bed of coals for that with that. So we'll try and get the lad out of bed in a minute. It's nearly brew time, so he's had a good sleep in. And we'll get some bacon and egg jaffles, and we'll probably wash it down with another cup of tea, I reckon. So, bacon and egg jaffles, or in this instance, a bit of Christmas cheer, a bit of Christmas ham and egg jaffles. Buttered bread down, and we've gone with the white bread. So only the simple reason is that it's big enough to fill the jaffle line up. Yeah, it's good to have a bit of flavoured bread, but yeah, doesn't always fit the jaffle. So a good bit of Christmas cheer in there. Don't need a lot, otherwise there's no room for the egg. Bit of fat. Oh. Neat. So ham off the bone. I pre-cut it just so we didn't have to bring the whole ham. fills the fridge up. What's happened here? We had a blowout, have we? Yeah, well, we might have. Crack the egg in there. If all goes to plan, it won't go everywhere. Big eggs. Makes it a challenge, but anyway, got to make sure you've got a bit of a cup in the bread. Now you can pep these up a little bit with other ingredients, but I find the ham's got plenty of salt in it to keep us on our toes. Butter up. I just preheated these irons slightly. Why did I do that? Not sure. Squeeze them tight. Alright, onto the fire we go. Here we go. Normally I'd sit these down in the coals. We've got plenty of heat up here and I can have the billy going at the same time easily enough. So I'll experiment. It's always good to try different things. I think these are pretty much done. So you end up with a bit of black charcoal toast crust around the edge. But that's alright, we just hack that away. Probably better off having a sharp knife other than the butter knife, but we'll get there. Oh, look at that. Done. So this hut, this is Mcmichael's hut, the new hut you might say. So this one was built, well, let's go back a step. The original hut, which was just over behind us here, was built by a fella called Mcmichael. Now, Bill obviously had the run around here and needed a hut to manage his stock. But Mcmichael had a property down near Lacola, the Big Flat, it's called, Big Flat, about 1874-ish, thereabouts. And I guess he had the run up here as a summer run after that sometime. So the old hut, we'll have a look where that was in a minute. It was about here. Remember, you could drive between the two huts. It was about here. There's a bit of old stone foundations here. Might have been the fireplace. Obviously a little flat area. But this hut, this was built by Bill Cumming. Bill was, until very recently, had the run in Glenmaggie, the retreat, and obviously this was his summer run. This is obviously sometime after Bill Mcmichael, and in about 1970 Bill Cumming built this hut. Now the reason he would have built this hut is because the old hut, it was in disrepair. It was pretty had it, and obviously this one's not too bad. This would have been pretty flash in its day. So the old hut was ultimately burnt down, but it was well decayed at that point. It was dilapidated, but the reason it was burnt, it was deliberately burnt, because in its disrepair it had cattle had wandered in, and a cow stock, and it come to grief, got caught up in the ruins or whatever, and actually died in the hut. And its decomposing body was pretty ordinary, so it was decided at the time the way to get rid of it all was just to burn the lot. So burnt the cow, burnt the old remains of the hut, and this hut still stands. So Bill Cumming, yeah, about 1970-ish, had the run around here, and coincidentally, what are we now, nearly 2021, just after Christmas 2020, and Bill Cumming of the retreat only passed away, it was only a few weeks ago now, maybe in the last month. So that's just a little bit of side information. So we've just pulled up, little car park, to Kelly's hut. We'll go over and have a bit of a look. It sits on the edge of the tree line overlooking Holmes's plain. It's a great spot. There's actually a bit of water, creek flowing down there, Shaw's Creek, which has been the sort of central theme of this little trip of ours. Shaw's Creek, so it's just flowing just through the gully over here, and it would have been the water supply for when they were working in the area. This?
I haven't been here for a while.
No. This is Kelly's hut. Spent a few wild nights in here, winter trips. Snow halfway up the door to dig ourselves in. It's changed a little bit over the years, particularly inside, but it's still in good nick. It's getting a lot of attention from Parks Victoria and or friends of Alpine Huts or one of those crowds, and doing some good work. So this hut, Kelly's hut, was originally built by a fella by the name of James Vincent Kelly, and James Kelly was one of 17 children, and his father took up holdings in Gippsland about 1872, I think it was, and in about 1920, I think, thereabouts, James Kelly, on returning from the First World War, took up holdings and subsequent lease in this area about 1920 and had this hut built for him to run stock through here in about 1934. So James Kelly had Connolly and Howlett, he commissioned them to build this hut in about 1934, and tacked onto the side is a skillion lean-to, if you like, and that was evidently built late 30s, 1940 thereabouts. So yeah, it's undergone a fair bit of restoration. Still got some work going on here. Parks Victoria and High Country Huts Association doing a fair bit of work, and we'll have a look around at some of the work they've done there. Obviously still some stuff going on in the fireplace there. So there you have it. That sort of wraps up another episode. Lad and his dad, we've had a ball. We've been poking along Shaw's Creek here, having a look at some of the history, some of the, well, obviously the old huts, some great campsites. Kelly's Lane, I mean, it's not particularly challenging at all for driving, but it's all right. A few little creek crossings and yeah, a few hidden gems down there at Shaw's Creek. Weather's clouded in on us, everything's a bit damp. Anyway, we'll put the heated seats on and wander down the hill. No worries. So thanks for coming along on this little journey with us, and yeah, don't forget, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, maybe subscribe if you're inclined that way. What do you reckon?
Thanks for watching. Peace out again.
So this weekend I dragged out a pair of hike boots out of the cupboard that I reckon the boy asked me before, said, where those boots come from? He'd never seen them before. Interestingly enough, I said, oh, these boots and I reckon we've probably walked a couple of thousand k's or more, probably way more, over the journey. Old favourites, been in the cupboard for a little while. I've got another pair that I was breaking in over the last 5 years. But anyway, I dragged them out. They've served me well. I had a lot of memories in these boots, but unfortunately today's probably the last day I'll ever get to wear them, because they just don't make them like they used to. Look at that. Hey, 2,000 to 3,000 kilometres. Trekking overseas, climbing, expeditions, everywhere. Not to mention the miles through the high country here. Look at that. I reckon I know a bloke that could fix them. Watch this space. I reckon they'll live another day. Scarpers, bloody great boots. Anyway, could be a good excuse to get another pair.
Bye.